All right, you guys, welcome back to the Outdoor RX YouTube channel. In today's video, we got a lot to unpack like usual, but before we dive into it, I want to invite you guys to please like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't watched my previous videos, make sure to go back and do that. With that being said, you guys, let's dive into today's video, and it's all about B.A.S.S and conservation in the sport of bass fishing, my opinion on it, and where I think bass has neglected conservation altogether at this point. So I want to read you guys something real quick, and then we'll dive into it. So B.A.S.S was founded on a lot of different principles, and one of them was pitching conservation to the public. So at the beginning, if you don't know this already, bass fishing, they used to, in the tournaments, they used to keep the fish. So to pitch a more realistic business model to the public, B.A.S.S incorporated conservation and to allow the public to get on board with what was going on. So they did the conservation and releasing the fish. That all came about. So let's dive into what B.A.S.S said. So basically, they're advocating for the preservation of fish populations and their habitat. So let's dive into habitats first. So when you go to Bassmaster's website, if you type in conservation, the main thing that pops up is it has to do with the fish habitat. More or less, it's all about aquatic vegetation. That's the big debacle, is aquatic vegetation. You either hear people bitching about their lake being sprayed too much, or there's not enough grass in the lake. So where the happy medium is, I'm not sure. But you don't really see much as far as what's actually happening to the bass population and other fish populations as well. And that goes into two different categories for me, and I'm going to talk about both of them here. And first, I want to start with the spawn. So if you haven't noticed, B.A.S.S's tournaments and a lot of the other tournament organizations, their schedules are completely based around the spawn for the most part, or getting near the spawn time. So if you think about this, you're allowing all these tournaments to happen during the spawn at more or less the same lakes every year. These fish are getting yanked off the beds. They're being taken back to the weigh-in. Some of these fish die. Most of them don't now. The anglers are pretty good about it, at least on the elite level. But then they're put into the, if you haven't been to one of these weigh-ins, they're put into a pontoon boat with a bunch of live wells in it, and then they take them to an undisclosed location and drop them off. So what does this do to the bass population? You hear a lot of anglers talk that there's been studies done, there's been this done, it doesn't affect the population. Bullshit. It's common sense. If you're ripping all these big females off of their beds, the bluegills and stuff come in and eat the eggs, the bass are dumped off into an undisclosed location, and you're telling me that doesn't disrupt the population of the bass in whatever lake it is? Of course it does. There's no arguing that. And if you want to argue it, please drop a comment down below and give me your 2 cents on how that doesn't hurt the population. At least in MLF, they have a catch and release. I know the Toyota series is different, but at the MLF level, at least they catch the fish and put it back in, and more times than not, that fish is going to go back to the bed. Sometimes they don't, but more than likely, the chances are better. So that is one deal that definitely hurts the population of bass fishing for sure. Another thing that I've seen with my own 2 eyes, and this has nothing to do with fishing the spawn, it's just fish care in general. So you have these people that go out and catch fish and say they're fishing deep, or you don't even have to be fishing deep. The conditions just have to be right for a fish that needs to be fizzed. So if you're going out tournament fishing or bass fishing in general and you don't know how to fizz a fish, you should learn how to do that. I can't tell you how many tournaments I've been to in the summertime. You go to the weigh-in and there's fish floating everywhere on their sides, trying to swim around, trying to go down under the water, and you'll have a select few of the older anglers out there fizzing fish because the younger generation doesn't know how to do it. So if you're gonna embark on that journey, learn how to take care of your fish. I'm not talking about the G juice and all the stuff that's great to put in your live wells. When you have a fish that needs to be fizzed, especially in the summertime, it's going to die a lot quicker than in the wintertime. I've seen people, elite pros as well, fish will need to be fizzed and they won't fizz them because they'll stay alive because the water's cold. And then they'll take them to the weigh-in, and then I'm sure when they dump them off, they die. It's bullshit. So if you're gonna embark on the fishing tournament side of things, learn how to take care of your fish, learn how to fizz your fish. There's plenty of videos out there. If you can't find one, I'll be more than happy to do a video of how to properly fizz a fish. I'll do a smallmouth video, a spotted bass video, and a largemouth video if needed. So with that being said, let's move on to the next topic, and it is one I'm gonna get a lot of kickback for, I'm sure, and that is forward-facing sonar and fish populations. So let's dive into what we've talked about. You have the tournament fishing during the spawn, and then you put forward-facing sonar on top of that, and you've got a whole different level of destroying fish populations. So you've got anglers going out that don't know how to take care of their fish. They're catching them off the beds. They're fishing for fish that you can't see with the naked eye on beds with the forward-facing sonar. It allows people to target fish that are not normally targeted, and especially the bigger fish. You're seeing people catch these mega bags out in the middle of the lake, and then I'm not saying all those fish are dying. I'm just saying that it's not giving the fisheries a break, and the big fish are getting caught at a lot bigger rate. The crappie are getting caught at a astronomical rate. The fishing pressure is crushing these bodies of water, and forward-facing sonar, I can't even dive into it enough. It makes me so angry. When you have, I'm just using bass as an example because that's what I'm most familiar with, and I'm going to go all the way to the elite level. When you have guys advertising that it's cool to put a 22-inch screen on the front of your boat designated for your forward-facing sonar, that is giving everyone below the elites, which is everybody, the false narrative that you're creating, and it's making it seem okay to do that. It's not. You're supposed to be a professional fisherman. You shouldn't need a 22-inch screen on the front of your boat for you to go and spotlight fish. It's an absolute joke. Like, and then people's biggest argument with the whole thing is it makes me more efficient. That's why I have 2 live scope transducers on the stern of my boat and 1 on the bow. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, it's disgusting to me, and then you'll hear some people say, well, there's no studies showing that. LiveScope's only been around for like 5 years. Of course there's not a study done yet on how it is destroying fishing populations all over the country. And let's go to your bass takes the anglers to these same bodies of water almost every year. So you do this continuous, and these bodies of water, most of them get extreme fishing pressure all year long. So you put the bass circuit on these lakes, and then you put these massive tournaments on it all the time, like I'm talking, Alabama, Texas, those areas, Florida, where you have these massive clubs that have 20 or have 200 plus boats, and they're fishing all the time. You're going to see a massive decline in the population of bass, crappie, panfish, you name it. It might not be that dramatic yet, but it will be. You mark my words, it will be. Another thing I want to touch on is what it's doing to the youth of the sport. I bring up the youth of the sport in almost every one of my videos, and a lot of people don't even acknowledge it. Or if I got one comment, guy saying that, oh, I have a lot to do with the high school program, and if you take LiveScope away, these kids won't come out and fish. Good. They shouldn't be fishing if that's all they care about is how to operate their LiveScope. They're not actually fishing if they're just using their LiveScope. I'm going to use this as an example. Imagine. This is my case. So imagine your granddad is like, hey son, or hey grandson, you want to come fish? Sure. In my case, it was we had a bucket of shiners and we went in long line for smallmouth. Imagine if your granddad took you out and he was like, hey, you want to go fish? And he's like, all right, now I just want you to stare at this screen, and when you see a little lit up blip on there, I want you to try to guesstimate how far away it is and just pitch a bait to it. And if he follows it down, wait for the bite. I never would have fished again in my entire life. That's not fishing. And when you have the elite anglers justifying it and making it seem like it's okay, it's going to put the sport exactly where it is right now. No one's watching it. It's the laughing stock of the entire fishing industry. And until people get on board, it's not going anywhere. And if you're one of the people that thinks it's good and you think it's good for the sport because it makes you more efficient on the water, you're probably not a very good fisherman to begin with. So that's my rant, you guys. I've waited all day to film this video because I've been so angry just looking at some of the stuff online that people think that this is okay, and it's not. So I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.